Good morning, UPBOptionMillionaires.com. It's the last full week of the summer, August 25th, 2014. So Monday, and stock futures are ding, 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 off to record levels. We're over the $200 level on the SPY. Who would have thunk it after at the start of this month we were in a tailspin and everybody was calling for a significant move to the downside? Yeah, so much for that. As stock futures were tumbling to multi-month lows. That was on a Thursday night into Friday morning, August 8, 2014. We rallied, and that rally has yet to slow down as we continue to the upside. Every single dip since the lows in 2009 have been a great buying opportunity. I was talking about this in my videos. Even at the lows there, when we were starting to find a bottom here, I said this is going to look a lot like the other times we've hit this Abenomics trend line. And sure enough, I mean, look at this rally we've had. Significant. If you were buying the dip here, you're doing really well here. A lot of individual names doing well. Boeing, I was talking about at the same time, hitting support. And look at that move. We're almost at the $130 level. Big order announced this morning, $8.8 billion order announced by Boeing. We had a great week last week. CRM, I was talking about in my videos. If you listen to my videos, I say, all right, this head and shoulders didn't break and looks very bullish for a move over 60. And we did. We got over 60 bucks. I was in the 56.50 calls. Those went to, do the math, over $3 each. So it was a nice move there on CRM. And also, before the bell on Friday, GMCR, Kraft, I believe it was, came into some sort of agreement, and the stock soared on Friday, up over 13%. JB alerted the calls via Twitter earlier in the week. The 121 calls at, I don't know, 40-something cents, and those ended up going to almost $14. So that's pretty nice. So all in all, Cirrus Holdings didn't work out. Cirrus Holdings, again, and I was talking about this as being support. We saw another down day on Friday. Since the earnings report was down over 7%. It was an intermediate support trend line. So again, it's still mired in this channel. A lot of people, and even in Barron's, there was a big piece in Barron's this weekend talking about how they're just burning through cash and they think Cirrus is going belly up. So we'll see. We'll see who's right and who's wrong. We have U.S. Steel. I've been talking about U.S. Steel since the start of this year, breaking out of this long-term resistance line this year, and I even said it in stock to us would be the trade of 2014 once it breaks. Sure enough, it's broken. We have an analyst coming out changing the rating from a $25 price target and underperform to a $50 price target and outperform. So it goes to show you, yeah, just wait until it rallied, I don't know, 35, 40% before changing. And why not? Nonetheless, that implies another 13 bucks to the upside, which is pretty much where I think it's going to head. How about Starbucks? I like Starbucks here off support. Starbucks right here at support, nice cup and handle formation. I'm looking for a continuation. So I'm in some Starbucks calls to start the week. FEYE. I'm in some calls here. It was a big trade at $28. Look at where we closed earlier this week. I think it was a 5 million share trade. There's a lot of money there at that price, and I like that as a level of at least intermediate, possibly short term. I mean, I'm in the calls, the weekly calls, so short term support will work for me, but intermediate as well, because I think that's going to be a significant low here we see for the stock over the next couple months. Also, Whole Foods, TFM came out with earnings on Friday, Thursday after the bell. On Friday, the stock rallied significantly, and Whole Foods also rallied, was up over 2% before pulling back, and I'm looking for this to make its move back over 40, and then ultimately 45, and then ultimately back up to 50 bucks. So I'm in the $38 calls that expire at the end of this week. Love it. Google, I was in the calls last week, which means Google is going to rally this week because I'm not in the calls, and Google has been consolidating here nicely and looking for that move to record levels, and it could happen as soon as this week. So it would just be appropriate. When I'm in the calls, it pretty much moved nowhere last week. It was pretty stagnant week for Google, especially look in the middle of this. I mean, look at it on Wednesday and look at Tuesday. I mean, just I mean, that's about as dull and boring as it gets. I mean, if you're sitting there watching it trade, it's even more stagnant and boring than actually looking at the chart. So that's Google. Apple's over the 102 level here early on, new record levels for Apple. And then we have earnings. Before the bell tomorrow, we have Best Buy. Best Buy, which another stock like Hewlett-Packard and JCPenney Everyone was leaving up for dead, calling it, and you can see this low that it hit. It's up almost 300% off its lows before pulling back. JCPenney, an analyst, came out this morning upgrading the stock. So JCPenney is going to be a lot like Best Buy and Hewlett-Packard, where I think the stock's going to head back over this long-term support level, and that would imply over a longer time frame back up into the 20s, which would be a pretty significant move for JCPenney. It's going to take a while, though. It's going to take a while, just like with Hewlett-Packard. When it hit its low, the slow melt up, and you can see the earnings report it had out last week. It took a little bit to digest, and it was a great trade to get into the options when the market opened, because the stock opened pretty much flat. And look at the rally it had up to over the 37.25 level before, and look at a boring trade on Friday. So we'll see if Hewlett-Packard can continue to the upside. We have Dollar General, we have A&F with earnings, we have Guess and Tiffany, I believe, Tiff, which is at the century mark. And TLT is rallying this morning. I talked about this too, as well as continues to baffle everybody how bonds and stocks are rallying at the same time. But again, with interest rates so low over in Europe, and you have the looming threat of deflation, the fact that you can come over here in the U.S. and get bonds that are yielding more bang for your buck than they are over in Europe, and that is why we're seeing stocks and bonds rally at the same time. And finally, the VXX. We'll conclude with one of the most fabulous shorts in our lifetime, the VXX, which continues. It's actually still $1 off, just about $1 off its record levels. And you can see the spike up it had. Remember, everyone was like, "Oh, here it is. This VIX. This is the time the VIX is gonna go to the moon." Yeah, and then it just gets beaten down. So we see it at 1147. I believe the low was at about 1040 or something like that. Let's just pull it at 1032. So we're getting there. We got some room to go. All right, UPB here, optionmillionaires.com. So we're looking for another great week here. We'll see if stocks can continue their melt and see if they can hold the $200 level for the SPY. Not a lot of people are calling back about the $200 level for the SPY this soon. And JB at Option Millionaires was back in October, did a nice chart. But all of the headwinds and the turbulence that the market has seen over, especially the last couple of years, yeah, just looking really good. And even if you look intraday here, we had a nice consolidation, even though there was some intraday volatility. And this is a nice pull off the lows here. And we saw this the August 8th lows on Friday. The continuation, consolidation, a beautiful bottom here. This is a very short handle, but nonetheless, you can see we're continuing to the upside. All right, I'll see you in the chat room at optionmillionaires.com. Everyone have a great trading session. Goodbye.